All right, Small Axe community, this is Nico, and I am back with Christina Kovacs. If you guys don't remember her, she's down in Florida rocking and rolling, and this is the third, oh my God, this is the third quarter wrap up already of this year. I can't believe it, Christina.
I know. Hello, Q4. Here we come.
All right, so it's been a few months, I guess. Maybe you can kind of catch us up on what you're working on or what you have been working on over the past few months.
This past quarter since we last spoke, it's been incredible. We finally got that momentum going and I closed on a 54 unit deal with four other partners in Kansas City. So that's been extremely exciting.
That's incredible. Who's on that team?
So we have the lead operators who are also our property managers, Andy and Dow Mullins, they're brothers, and they own a property management company there. And they already have 130 units there, so they have a lot of experience. And then it's Natasha Dillon. She's an MIH also, and I had met her earlier this year at an event. And then Deb and Keone, who I and Dimitri and Katya also, they're from Jake and Gina. So with them, I've known them for almost a year, and we always knew that we'd be part of a deal together. So it finally happened.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good
Yeah.
people. And
Mhm.
what, so 55 units, did you say?
54. Yeah. In Kansas City, built in 73. And so we got it for 4.35. And we have a large CapEx budget of almost 700,000. So that business plan has already been rolling out. So we've already charged 2 units and we closed on September 1st. And one unit's already been rented out for 12.6% more than the original rent. So we underwrote for 5% annual increase. So we're already ahead of the game with that first one. And the guys did a really good job getting that rolled out.
Oh, awesome. Is that because of the Mullins? They know, I guess they know what they're doing. They're the property managers, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's one bedroom they were able to get turned for $3,500. So not including flooring, just some, except for the carpets in the bedroom. But the LVP was already there in the main area. But yeah, the paint, epoxy counters, which are, you've seen those before. It's just incredible. It looks like a quartz or marble and it only costs a couple $100 to get that look. And it'll just last a lot longer too. So painting the cabinets, refacing them, hardware, plumbing fixtures, paint throughout. So with all of that, we came in budget. So
That's amazing. Did you guys
yeah.
go with a bridge loan on this?
Yeah. So we have bridge loan on this with a local community bank that the Mullins brothers had a good relationship with already. And with that, we got it for 5.18 over fixed for 5 years, amortized over 25. And we have 18 months IO.
That's
So
beautiful.
our CapEx plan is going to be implemented over these next 18 months. We should be complete with all of that by then. And our refi on this is not till year 5, but if I could do sooner, great. But we'll just see where rates go. At this point, they're going to keep going up, it seems like, until we can curb inflation. And hopefully by year 4 or 5, we'll be in a good position to refi.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
definitely. But you got a great rate and you got great terms. I think that
Yeah.
I think you're already ahead. So, what type of um, area is this in KC?
Yeah. So it's 4 miles north of downtown Kansas City in a really good area. Kansas City in general, it's booming. It's just unbelievable with the amount of development that's happening, infrastructure, the airport, they're building a $1.5 billion airport to make it international. That should be completed next year. Panasonic's coming in with 4,000 jobs. They're investing a lot in that as well. And outside of Kansas City on the Kansas side. But it's still going to be within 35 miles of our property. Um, let's see what else. Google is buying more land because they might be building a data center sometime. Facebook and Meta, they're already rolling out some new jobs for 2023 in that area. There's just a lot of growth happening.
That's awesome. And I'm assuming that this is a JV, right? You guys didn't syndicate it.
No, we didn't. So it's a true JV. And yeah, so the way the split's going, it's 90-10. So since the Mullins brothers brought the deal and they have the most experience out of all of us, they are the ones who get an extra 10%. And then we're splitting that way. So I own 16% approximately if I round up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really, really great deal. And with these guys, we just spent the whole weekend with them. Natasha unfortunately couldn't make it. She was in Portugal. But it's just unbelievable the connection that we already have. And it's kind of, I haven't dated in 18 years, but it's when you have that first interaction, and you just know that you hit it off. And the whole weekend with everyone's spouses and everything, it just was so much fun. And it's like we've been friends for years. So I'm just really excited for this growth because this is a legacy hold. So we don't plan to sell at any point unless something changes, but that's the plan going in.
I love it. So I haven't connected yet with the Mullins. Are they brothers, you're saying?
Yeah, they're brothers. Yeah,
And so they have a property management company, I'm assuming. And so that's now you guys are vertically integrated. Is that how it's working?
exactly. Yep. So right now, in the plan, we do have, because it's such a big CapEx budget, they're only charging 5% to the deal for their property management fees. But we do have in there an extra $65,000 for another manager to be solely with this property to really help get us up and going for the first 2 years. And then hopefully they find more deals and we can keep this team growing together and build out more. And that person will end up being hybrid with other properties as well. And
Awesome. That's so cool. So you guys have got it all set up. And what are like I guess what are cap rates in KC?
yeah, so we got this one at 6.7
That's
cap rate.
awesome. And I'm sure that they're lower than that.
They are. Yeah. This one right here, there's we bought at 85% with 15% vacancy. So there was a lot of value add to this deal. And the seller that sold it, he just didn't put a lot of effort in. There's been tenants that have been there for 18 years and haven't had rents really raised now. So, um, and there was a unit that was completely burned down because someone started a kitchen fire.
Oh,
So there's just things like that made this deal attractive to people that are experienced. But it definitely is going to be, some units will be a heavy lift and will cost 17,000 to rehab.
okay.
But there's just two of those one just a bad border situation, another one a burn unit. But in the other 6 units, we've already turned 2 of those. So
Gotcha. And that's awesome. And when did you guys take over?
September 1st.
Cool. So recent.
Yeah,
That's awesome. And
really recent.
so you guys are rocking already. And
Oh yeah.
what is like the unit mix?
So it's spread out. It's mostly 2 bedrooms, but there are a couple of 1 bedrooms. And there's also some 3 bedrooms. And our smallest unit size, even for the 1 bedroom, is 920 square feet. So they're nice, large apartments. And the 3 bedroom is 1,450 square feet. So there's a lot of space. There's 13 buildings total. And the whole area it's over 7 acres. And so it just feels like a park. There's a lot of bridges. There's carports. So it's a really nice community that you want to be in. And the office right now, we're going to make that into a clubhouse because eventually we won't need an office on site because
Oh,
the buildings that they have are within close distance of proximity too. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
So is it like a C plus B area?
So yeah, it's a B area. We're right at 4 miles outside of downtown Kansas City. But yeah, this is definitely a C property in the moment. So, and with its vintage too, it's 73.
Gotcha.
But we're definitely going to build that up.
How long, if you don't mind me asking, how long did it take you guys to close?
It was 2 months.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm in contract now, and we're running into problems with financing, like at the whole world, right?
Mm.
So I'm just curious to know, I guess, how that process went with the loan. Also, was it easy? Did they change terms on you at any point?
So no, Andy Mullins and Dow too, they both had such a good relationship with the bank. They tried changing the terms because we had 75% loan to cost. So they tried changing the terms on the rehab budget, and then they just said they're not going to cover anything. And it was like, what? That wasn't part of the plan. And then eventually with their relationship, and that's what it comes down to in a lot of these situations, it seems like they were able to, and then when the appraisal came in, they felt more confident with that when they saw the stabilized value that the appraiser had put in at 6.54 in 18 months. It felt confident with doing the full loan to cost of 75%. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. So you just kind of fight, you negotiate, renegotiate, and you win. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Christina, catch me up on some other parts of your life journey business.
Yeah. So, I mean, I took a 2-week vacation, which is,
Whoa.
I know that's a big deal. It hasn't happened in a long time. It was true vacation. So, that happened. Our vacation rentals up and running and that we just bought. And when I talked to you about that, I was closing on that last quarter. We had a guest stay for 30 days. So it was our first guest and it was just amazing this guy knew it. We hustled to get that it renovated for him before we left for vacation. So he knew that there might be some things that we had to work on. Like we usually, when we have vacation rental, we try to sleep in every single room, use every single bathroom and experience it like any of the guests would. But the first floor we did, and a stupid mistake, like we always, pull the hair with the, whatever that thing's called, but pull the hair from the bathtub. So, but it
Mhm.
wasn't draining well. So it's like simple things like that we usually mitigate, but we were just rushed for time before we left for vacation. And he was supposed to check in while we're on vacation. So, but we got that remediated right away. So it was been really good, but luckily it was nice to have a guest who was so understanding and knew that we were accommodating him too. So
That's awesome. And for that rental, are you getting the I guess what is it? The nightly, I
yeah.
guess,
So
rent rate?
yes, exactly. And so in 30 days, this has been listed on Airbnb only. And within those 30 days, with the current guest that was there, I booked 92 days over the next 6 months. And those 92 days have covered 63% of our annual operating expenses. So I'm so close to closing in that gap and start making a profit. And that's if all the reservations stay confirmed. But that's just
That's
in the
awesome.
first 30 days. And I underwrote for 50% occupancy. So I'm I'm very hopeful now that I'm seeing how it's working on this first month.
Oh, that is awesome, Christina. You're gonna
Yeah.
kill it. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And what's your hubby doing?
Yeah. So he came up to Kansas City with me. He had never met the guys even on Zoom or anything yet. So that was I'm the person mostly handling the real estate side of things. But yeah, he's just been busy with his Miami Wired and Rebelco is the two businesses we have here. So just keeping us busy. We're a little bit here, a little bit there, diversified in all of our things. So
Okay, cool. And where was your vacation?
Portugal.
What? And wait a minute. And Natasha is there or
Yeah.
was
So
there?
she actually had a trip planned also. Right after.
And you didn't meet up because it was a different time, I guess.
Exactly. But that would have been amazing.
And why Portugal?
So actually I have a friend that lives over there. She's lived there now for 5 years and she has a exclusive luxury travel company called Immersive Global. And so I wanted to visit her and then also explore the country that she's been in for 5 years. And I meant to go sooner and it just things didn't work out. So finally I was able to get over there and she helped out with so many recommendations too. So it was the first time I'd ever use assistance of an agent of any sort. I usually plan everything myself, but
Yeah.
wow, there's things that I'm missing out, I think, when I don't reach out to these professionals in the area.
Cool. All right. I didn't know that. And where in Portugal or were you all over?
All over. Yeah, Lisbon, Porto, Douro Valley, Alentejo, Alentejo. My pronunciation's horrible. You can correct me.
I don't know any
Madeira.
better.
Yeah.
Cool.
Madeira. And it was just really nice. It was needed. And that's, you push so hard, you need to just unwind and relax. And then also so many things come to you, you just get so much motivation to get going again when you take that break. So
Oh, you are inspiring me now to go away. This is awesome, Christina. Even though I was just in Spain, but it was like for a quick like family vacation. And so it wasn't really vacation. I was kind of working over there.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways, all right, cool. So what do you think the next quarter will look like? I mean, look, you have already accomplished more than I would ever imagine somebody could accomplish in a year, right? In a couple of quarters. So what are
Thank
you
you.
thinking about for next quarter?
Yeah. So I'm just going to help with asset management on this 54 unit. I started dabbling in the capital raising space a little bit, not raising yet, but I joined Anthony Vicino's capital raising machine course and strategy sessions. So I just want to learn more about that. And I can see that happening at some point. I'm going to run out of money, to invest. But I want to be able to get other people to come in and see what the power of this is and how we can grow together. So I see that happening probably 2023 that I start implementing capital raising, and I want to learn more. So that's been my big thing, and building out my website for that, and just keep joining all the networking calls and in-person networking events and putting in all those efforts. It's just been so crucial to continuously network. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. And I'm very curious about Anthony's course. I might do it too. I heard of so many people talking really good things about it. So I got to look into it a little bit more.
yeah, it's fantastic. And the just strategy sessions where you can ask anything and have someone pull apart your website and give you honest, good feedback. It's nice to have that support too.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. All right, Christina. Well, I'm super excited for you and your journey, and I truly, truly am thankful for having these conversations. I
Yeah.
appreciate having you on, and I can't wait to see what happens in Q4.
Same. Thanks so much, Nico. We'll talk soon.
Okay, my family, my people, my loved ones, welcome back to another episode, accountability series episode of the Small Axe Podcast. Today, I am hanging out to wrap up quarter 3 with Dr. Nancy Huynh. Welcome back, Doctor.
Thank you, Nico. Great to be back.
I'm excited to chat with you and catch up with you. Maybe you can kind of fill the listeners in on what you've been working on over the past few months.
Yeah, so really trying to get the project, the 132 unit in Cincinnati, running and starting the renovations there, getting the investors kind of updated and everything. So that's been my main focus, in addition to educating my current investors and bringing on new investors to educate them about this asset class. So that's really what I've been working on. And then just on a personal side, starting to finalize term on this. Basically, I'm partnering up with this other female investor who in Dayton, Ohio, and we've purchased this historic building that's empty, and we're going to convert it into an 18-unit apartment building. So that's on like a JV kind of deal, but on the syndication side, the 132 unit has been my main focus, just trying to get everyone settled in, get that all stabilized, and get it running.
Talk to me first about the 132 unit. It's in Cincinnati, you said?
Yes.
With who?
As with Kent Ritter and his team at
That's
Hudson
right.
and
That's
Betting.
awesome.
Yes. So, we started the renovations, new roof on, the exterior renovations. So we're right on track of where we need to be. And just informing the investors of what's going on and keeping them up to date. And then we'll also recently migrated to a new investor platform. So just trying to get everyone settled on there as well.
Which is the investor platform that you're using?
It was InvestNext before, and we're switching to Syndication Pro. It just allows for better integration and I think a better investor experience.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I'm kind of considering the same thing. I have InvestNext as well,
Yeah.
but I've used both before. So tell us so when we take over a property, right, we have
Yeah.
all these assumptions, right? It's all pro
Mhm.
forma stuff. And we just have assumptions of how things are going to go. We're predicting the future. Has
Mhm.
anything changed even slightly for the better or for worse? And how are you navigating that if so?
Right now, I think it's for the better. We're very, right. I know everyone says they're very conservative with their underwriting, but I feel like this deal really was. And that's why I was attracted to this deal to invest in the first place was, the projected rents where we wanted to be at year 2, we've already achieved. So I think we're on the right track, and I only see the rent growth increasing further. So that's a positive side. But I know that there's going to be ups and downs, right, with any project. So I'm prepared for that. And you just kind of take it as it goes. But yes, everything has been relatively positive so far.
Awesome. Any differences in, like, once you begin renovation, sometimes you're like, oh, things are harder to get than we thought, or or
Mhm.
things are cheaper. We actually we just got a great news yesterday that we're like $60,000 under budget for the latest budget that we have. So we're excited about that.
That's always good news, right? For the underwrite. On our end, we underwrote the renovations very well as well. We have reserves. So one of the things that we found as we were doing the renovations was some of the roofs that we didn't think needed as extensive of a entire replacement and just patching actually needed new roofs. but we had enough reserves to cover that, and we're in a good position. So, in real estate, you never know what you're going to find, right? Until you dig into the project. And that's just one example. And it's just learning how to pivot.
I love that. It's important for people to know, when people are looking and analyzing a deal to invest in as a limited partner, they tend to look or overanalyze certain aspects and not really. So it's hard to get the broad view of what an operator is really trying to present on a spreadsheet of underwriting. Right?
Yeah.
It really should be more of conversational because it's an art form more than like this number based spreadsheet. Even though there are a lot of numbers on there, there are places like you might not have known to look in the reserves just in case something, as an LP, you might not have known that there's a reserves section just in case something happens, right? And operators plan for that, but it's not necessarily announced to the world when you're looking at their underwriting.
Yeah. And I think it's important even as passive investors to look at that, because that's one of the things that will mitigate risk a little. It's not going to entirely shield from every single thing that can go wrong. But when operators have reserves, particularly in this environment, I think that's critical because it shows that you're preparing for any downfall that might occur. And you're not going to go underwater or have to do another capital call to get that money if something goes wrong with the deal. So especially in this environment, I would suggest in any environment to really look for those reserves, because that's what's carried operators. I feel like the good operators through a lot of bad times, like for instance, through COVID, people who had reserves fared much better than those who did not.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
love it. Talk to me a little bit about this JV. It's also in Ohio. You have 2 Ohio deals now, huh?
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you before, I mainly invest in the South and Southeast, the hot markets. I live in Atlanta, so those were markets that are really attractive to me. But they've gotten so overheated, right? So I, as an investor, am also always trying to follow the path of progress for emerging markets and following the trends in terms of demographics, economic trends. So I feel like the Midwest, particularly Midwest markets, really has those features. And the person I'm JVing with, she lives in Atlanta, but she actually grew up and went to school in Dayton, Ohio, and her family's still there. So she's really familiar with the market. So if you look at Dayton as a whole, you might think, gosh, this is like a crumbling economy. There's not much. But as I was digging deeper to where this property is, it really is that emerging part, kind of the hip and happening, where it's near a bunch of restaurants. And the need for this type of housing is really needed, because young professionals want that type of housing to live there and to work there. So I'm really excited. It's a different adventure, right? Because it's kind of construction. And I had doubts, right? Your limiting beliefs come up. Is this the right environment to be doing this type of stuff? But when I look down to it, it's a learning experience. She's very experienced. She's had 20 plus years of development experience doing it in Atlanta, doing it in Ohio. So if anything, this will be a tuition, right? To learn a new skill set, to learn something new other than the value add that I've been doing, for years. So yeah, so I'm excited.
That's amazing. And what's the game plan you said? So it's like some sort of construction, and what are you converting it from and to, and how many units will it be, et cetera?
Yeah, it's a historical building, so it's completely empty right now. It has great bones and an excellent location, right? In real estate, you can never change the location. It's always location, location, location. And the plan is we already got the city permits to start construction once we close on the loan. Everything has been demoed inside. So the plan is to convert it, to convert it into an 18-unit apartment building. So it's like a loft style mix of 2 bed, 1 bath, 2 bed, maybe 2 bed, 2 baths, or maybe it's 2 bed, 1 baths, and then 1 bedrooms as well. So it'll be kind of like a downtown hub for people to a desirable location, attractive to young professionals, particularly who desire this type of living space.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Do you know how many units more or less you're going to have in there?
18 units.
That's awesome.
hmm
Is it just you and this one other person, one other
Yeah,
partner?
yeah. Right now, yes. Yeah, we might bring in one other partner, but it'll just be me and her.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, that's really exciting. And so my partner, well, my friend and partner, Jake Oreskovich, he's in Cleveland. He moved to Cleveland specifically to begin multifamily over there, and he's not doing it, but at this point, but he's still investigating, and he learned so many he learned that from block to block, there can be
Yes.
extreme differences in Ohio. and he's still getting to learn the neighborhoods. And but there's a lot of opportunity if you know exactly where you're going, but you got to know those spots.
Yeah, I think that's an important point you make because a market is just not a market. Because even within Atlanta, I'm so familiar with this market, even down to the neighborhood and the blocks is so different. You could turn one street with these $1 million homes and you make a turn 2 blocks down into the street and there's a bunch of, rundown duplexes. So it's very block to block dependent. So in researching this neighborhood, it is the place to be, the median home prices, the median income, all those factors play into it. So I think it's so important within the market to analyze a sub-market, but then even further go down to the street level, to the neighborhood level, and really understand where you're investing and what you're investing. Because, even as an investor, if you think about it, people can present opportunities like it's in Atlanta. So people think Atlanta's growing, but it's in a not so great neighborhood in Atlanta. Then I've seen these deals float around and they're still trying to raise money. It's because, yes, it's Atlanta, but it's not in the right part of Atlanta that's desirable currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes plenty of sense. And what is so? What is your major role on this one? Are you going to be like, or what is your partner's major role? What are your like? How are you dividing the roles?
Yeah, so she's going to be doing a lot of the construction management. She will be down there probably half the month. She goes up and down all the time, 2 weeks. So, and I will be a part of that as well. I'll be going as I can to help manage some of that. But it's really when it's done, helping to stabilize the property, lease up, and really, get the income going so we could finance it into a more permanent loan.
I love it. I love it. I got a different type of a question for you. Let's see how
Yeah.
this one rolls out. All right. So for people listening, maybe
Mhm.
it's somebody, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. Maybe they're like, well, I want to do this. I want to get into something like Doc Nancy is doing. Like, how did you find your partner? Let's say, how did you find the opportunity? Like maybe some guidance of what people can do to get to where you are today and maybe how long it might take, something like that.
That's a tough question to answer, Nico, because I don't think there's a specific timeline. And that's what everyone wants, right? It's like, what is the fastest way? It's all about connections. And that's what you realize in this business. It's like, who's connected to who? So I'll tell you how I met my business partner in this deal is I was raising for that 132 units. So I was asking all around, right, for the raise, who's interested. So my contractor here, who does a bunch of my properties, helps, do the construction and management here, said, "Hey, I know this great lady investor that I've worked on a bunch of projects for her in the Atlanta area because I told her she's developed and done all sorts of real estate here." So we connected, and literally we met up for coffee. And she wasn't interested in the deal because she had her own stuff going on, but she told me about this deal, and she was just going to do it all alone. She already bought the building outright, but looking for some partners to kind of finish it out and everything. And I told her at that point, and we just really clicked, just on a personal level. She operated herself with integrity. I researched what she did and just really liked the way she worked, but it was just not the right timing at that point. When she asked me, because I was working on the Cincinnati deal, I didn't know how much capital I would be contributing or how much I needed to contribute. So just wanted a little bit of liquidity. So I said, not right now, maybe in the future, if you still have the deal available or if other opportunities come up. Um, so we've kept in touch and literally, got back together about a month just to catch up. And she's like, "Hey, this project's going along. I'm still looking for maybe one or two partners, and I'm very selective about who I choose. And I really want to work with you. I think you have potential, and this could be a great potential partnership." And so I really dug deeper into it. And you know, just felt like it was the right thing for me to do at this time after discussing with my husband and doing a little bigger deeping. So, all that to say, long story to say, is you never know where the opportunities will come. This came out of nowhere. It kind of came at the right place at the right time, I would say, because I had already done quite a bit of research for that Cincinnati deal, the 132 unit. So I was familiar with the market somewhat. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm investing in a completely new market. So it was just out of coincidence that it just fell. This deal was in a very similar market, very close by. and it was someone I wanted to work with. So what I'm trying to say, you never know where opportunities are coming from. Keep your eyes open, connect with people, see if there's some synergy, test it out, right? This is also a test. It might not work out, it might work out great, but be willing to take those chances because you never know where it's going to take you. Just like with my 132 unit, this came, kind of unexpectedly. I wasn't expecting to do like a more of a construction development deal, but the opportunity came up and I think it's a great opportunity.
Oh, excellent, excellent advice. Very well put. Thank you, Nancy. And let's get the listeners some vision of what's going to happen for the next few. This is it. In
Yeah.
3 months, we're done for the year. So in the next 3 months, do you have any plans? Are you just going to keep doing what you're doing, or what's going on?
I'm just enjoying the process. I think that's the most important is I'm just enjoying the process of meeting investors, educating them about the power of real estate. I'm always looking for opportunities and deals. So I continue to look at deals that come across my inbox, operators who reach out for the opportunity to partner up. But in this market cycle, I am just very, I wouldn't say I'm at a full stop because I think if the opportunity comes, I'm going to jump. Real estate is still, I think, the best investment vehicle to do, but you have to know where we are in the cycle and to match your investment parameters to fit that cycle to hopefully preserve your capital as much as possible and preserve my investors' capital as much as possible. So I'm cautiously optimistic. And I'm hoping, to do, if the opportunity ends up one more deal before the end of the year with a great deal, with a great operator, but it's just, if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't, I'm not going to force a deal. I want something that's going to make sense for myself and my investors, because that's first and foremost important to me.
Awesome, Nancy. You're the best. Thank you. Let's get people some form of contacting.
Yeah. My website is the best way, clearvisioninvesting.com. And you could also email me directly at nancy@clearvisioninvesting.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nancy. And we will wrap it up in 3 months. And that's it. Oh my
I
goodness.
know. Thank you, Nico.
Okay, Small Axe community. It's your boy Nico here, and we are back with Chris Southerland Jr. This is a third quarter wrap up. So this is it. These guys are crushing it this year. Super excited to get Chris on the show to catch you guys up to what he's been working on and what he plans to work on. So Chris, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you, man. I'm super inspired. Again, if people have forgotten, or if this is the first time tuning in to this series, super inspired by you guys, and you especially because of your age, man. You're super young and you're just going out there and crushing it.
Yeah, thank you. I actually just turned 23 on the 13th of last month. So I'm pretty excited to be getting to meet a bunch of people in the real estate game and get in really young. So
That's the way to do it, man. If I could have turned back time and just do it all over, I would do the same thing. So good on you, man.
appreciate it.
All right, let's rock. What have you been working on over the past couple of months?
Honestly, I have just been working my job and saving up money and finding deals to get into. So the last deal I probably got into was a couple days before you actually messaged me about your deal. And now I'm just saving up money to hopefully get into one more deal before the end of the year. But yeah, so I have 4 LP deals now. I'm looking to get like my 5th one, like I said, before the end of the year. And yeah, basically I've just been focusing on my cybersecurity skill so I can bring in the money through that and then just passively invest into real estate. I think that's what's best for me right now. And then I'm learning a lot in these deals from the people that are in them, just through the Zoom calls we do, and when I talk to them about what they're going to do to make money with the property, and then plus I can just message a lot of them and like ask them any questions and whatnot. So it's been a real awesome like educational journey, and then also it's nice to make money in the process. So.
Chris, man, I think that is so phenomenal. And, that's the same thing that I would have done at your age, given the same circumstances. You're working a lot, you're working hard, you're banking some money. Why not roll it into investments exactly the way you're doing and, get some passive income, see what the process is like, see how the operators operate, what you like and what you dislike. And like you said, it's very educational.
Yeah, for sure. Every day it's a new learning process, or I learn something new, so one day I hope to be able to do my own syndications and raise my own money. But for now, I'm kind of good where I'm at. And, you know, so down the line, I'll probably try to transition away from my, W-2 job. But again, if I'm doing real estate full time, then that's just my new job. So it's not like I'm not going to be working. So I might as well just stick to the thing that I'm really good at for now. And, yeah, so that's kind of my game plan.
Yeah. So like let's say let's say almost all of us want to be able to live off passive income at some point, whether or not, we might not want to retire. We enjoy doing this job. We enjoy working in real estate or whatever we do, but we want to be able to replace our income or a good amount of it with passive income. And in order to do that, you have to have a significant amount of capital invested at a certain return to make that work. So like, let's say when we're getting an 8% return, we're going to need 1.5 million to replace our income, let's say, or 2 million invested to replace our income. So it's important for people out there who are looking to be active to understand that you don't just become rich necessarily, or you don't just retire or quit your W-2 necessarily from a couple of deals. You got to really have a lot of capital either working for you, or you got to just build up that equity over time.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Let's talk a little bit about your W-2 and how many hours you put into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, a lot of probably 40 hours a week, and then a lot of outside study, because, cybersecurity is constantly changing, and then also studying the real estate stuff. And then I'm trying to uh, get into more deals faster by raising capital for people. So that's something I'm trying to do. But for my actual W-2, I'd say like it's no more than 40 hours. It's nothing too crazy.
Okay, I didn't know that. And so it's constantly changing. So how do you get like the updated information on what to be studying or what to be preparing for?
Yeah, mostly it actually just comes from coworkers. So I'll just, there's like a list of resources that people constantly monitor, and will read like news sites and stuff. But honestly, I found it best to just ask the coworkers because they're already reading that kind of stuff. So usually they'll just send me like a link or explain it to me, and then it's fine because they're all going to be talking about it anyway, usually. So that's just kind of how I get my updates.
Gotcha. Are you contracted per job, or do you just do they just throw jobs? How does it work?
It's just salary. So, no matter how many jobs there are, it's just the same. So
Interesting, man. And I'm only asking because I've been seeing a lot of ads for, get into cybersecurity, and I'm curious about it myself. And like, there are these, did you go to college for it, or was there a program for it, or how did you get into it?
yeah, I personally went to this online college, and I got my bachelor's and my master's in 8 months. So it was like fast tracked. And you also get like a whole bunch of cybersecurity certificates in the process. So I think all like within 8 months, I had like my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and like 15 or so certificates. So it made me like super hireable. And then I actually started working before I even got my bachelor's because I was getting a couple certificates through the school. And so that got me hired pretty quickly, and it went up from there.
That's crazy, man. And is it like computer technology? Like, are you programming things, or what is it? Because again, I'm curious.
So I'm what you call a pen tester, but like another couple words for it could be like ethical hacker or something like that. So I hack into stuff for a living, and I don't really create a lot of code from scratch. So there's like a lot of code on the internet and exploit databases and stuff that you can use. And then you can just apply it to the systems that you're testing. You might have to change like a couple lines, but it's not like as hard as a lot of people think it is. And a lot of programming languages are created to be like super human readable and really easy to create. And it makes like logical sense, and they're built to not be confusing. So yeah, I don't really create a lot of custom code from scratch though. I basically just run a lot of automated tools and do a lot of manual testing and run a lot of like commands and the command line interface on Linux and stuff like that.
That's really interesting, man. Cool. Thank you for sharing. And so you also recently made a change. You moved, didn't you?
Yeah, I moved. I moved to, well, not really that far though. I just moved to DFW from Gun Barrel City.
Okay. But you got a new, so what was that? Were you renting that prior house or?
Yeah, I was. I was renting the prior house, and I'm still renting actually.
Gotcha. And you were also recently in, was it North Carolina with your sister?
Yep, I was hanging out there for a couple months.
A couple, you can basically work remotely, right?
Yeah, I work. Yeah, I can work wherever I want, and also like kind of whenever I want to. I can make my own hours and stuff as long as I get my work done. It's fine.
Yep. And last we spoke, you were looking at some like duplexes and you were bidding on some properties. Are you still doing that?
I'm not. I've talked to a couple people, and honestly, I think that I'll get more out of it to just keep doing LP deals. I think that the first property I buy, like just by myself, I'm hoping could be like a more than a 5-plex. Like I'm hoping to go buy like a 12-plex or something just by myself because I already have like enough experience or so, or have the right connections to build a team to run it. I like to start somewhere like that. But honestly, I'm not in a rush to add any more stress in my life, like a duplex or something that's not going to bring me a significant amount of money, but bring me a lot of stress. So I'm totally fine with just keep LPing and learning and making my money grow, but not doing any of the work. And then also uh, raising capital, learning how to, make connections and do that more. And I've kind of raised a little bit of capital, but not much, but compared to some of these people out here. But that's something I'd like to focus on more, like kind of on the side though, until I quit my W-2.
That's awesome, man. It's in such demand. I'm constantly looking for people to bring in capital as well. So it's definitely high demand. It's definitely I say there are two ways to get into a deal. Either you find the deal and you lock it up under contract yourself, or you bring capital to the deal. I mean, those are really the only two ways you're getting in. Nobody's out there searching for like an asset manager, let's say, to come in and be on their deal. It's like we already have that within the team, or we can all take on those skills ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
Yeah,
Now,
for sure.
and I also agree with the fact that, if your ultimate goal is to go with the bigger multifamilies, why add that stress right now with the duplex? It's not going to give you the experience necessary, nor, like you said, the returns necessary. So I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, man. So what do you foresee for this final quarter?
I want to get into another deal. So that's something that I'm really hoping for. We got 2 more months to go. I don't care if the deal closes before the year's over, but I want to at least send my money to someone before the year's over. So that's what I'm hoping for. And yeah, I think I can make it happen. And also, I am starting like a cybersecurity company that I'm going to be doing on the side. Not quitting my W-2 or anything until I can grow the company, but I'm starting that as well. So I'm trying to make it all happen.
Wow, man. Big things. I like it. Cool. So you're starting a new company, getting in one more deal. Sounds perfect. Sounds realistic. And I can't wait to catch up with you next time, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for the time. I always love chatting with you.
Yeah, you're the coolest, Chris. Thank you, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.